To talk about like the best Japanese players out there, obviously you're going to have to include Zachary. Like there's just no question about it. He was the pioneer in Smash Ultimate. You've got Shuton up there as well, who's been top 10, top 5 for the entire duration of the game. And then you've got the newer gen of like Akola and Mia and Graru. And then also my personal shout out that I have to give because we are in Vegas, I got to talk about Proto Banham. I miss Proto Banham so much. He won Double Down a couple of years ago here in Vegas.
Had a crazy performance at Summit, was considered the best.
There was like a 3 month
time.
There was like a 3 month period where he might have been the best player in the world. He won like everything for a little bit. And and unfortunately he does have some complications with health that I just hope he's doing well. And we've got this set to deal with, and I think this means that Orchid versus Illusion might have been a Falco Ditto.
Oh, okay.
So MKBigBoss got to deal with a Falco flying high and doesn't do quite so well on the first stock. So you're going to take a moment on the Angel platform to recollect himself. And look at that. As soon as he comes off of it, he takes a moment to think, and then he immediately gets that stock, sets up a great offstage situation, and then capitalizes on it beautifully.
Yeah, and I don't know if necessarily Falco beats Rob. I mean, Rob is definitely a better character overall, but Falco does have some great tools. You're going to have really good combo potential with this character, and on top of that, you do have that reflector, right? That reflector kicking forward, going to be a great way to disarm safely things like the gyro. But these missed techs are costing Orchid a lot of damage here, and MKBigBoss taking a big advantage.
And chat was letting me know that Orchid is from Utah, which means that we have 2 Utah players back-to-back on stream, because I think Ant is also from Utah as well. So we're getting some West Coast, like Great Plains representation, but BigBoss, despite dropping that first stock, is like, hey, let's talk about Mexican representation. I don't think there's enough Mexican representation at the top level of Smash. We need more.
Yeah, and if we're talking in terms of like high-level players, we probably have a lot of representation just from West Coast in general, right? So a lot of players from the West Coast region going to drive over or just have that short flight. Again, Orchid missing a third tech here on this stock again. Going to get that chain.
No.
And this is looking real grim. Does grab the gyro, but at what cost? Wow, doesn't get the down air there. Up smash going to whip. Can you go ahead, utilize this rage, maybe set up an up tilt back air on the ledge trap here? No, you're going to bet it all on the edge guard, and MKBigBoss not going to let that one slide unpunished. The back air to close out game number 1. Orchid taking a big gamble there.
He saw the picture of the Rob bike in the new Mario Kart game where he's like kind of doing the down tilt motion. BigBoss was like, oh, that is my favorite move. Let me put it to use here, and does a fantastical job of exactly that. Just as soon as he dropped that first stock, he said, hey, how are you going to deal with this? And Orchid just hasn't quite figured it out yet, because these down tilts just keep putting him off stage, and BigBoss keeps killing him.
Well, in the corner carry too, that's another thing to take note is if you do miss a tech, you are going to get pushed in because of unit collision in Ultimate. They can go ahead and push your character closer to the blast zone, where the edge guard becomes a higher success rate. And one reoccurring thing you're going to see here in these pools, especially against, there's one player that's going to be a bit higher seed than the other. You're just going to see the more experienced player, especially when they get the lead. It really comes down to when you're a lower seed player against a higher seed player, it feels like you have to take these gambles, because if you play this really long match of just fundies, it almost feels like you're just going to lose in the long run. So that's why, even though it might not seem like it makes sense for some of these players to take bigger risks, that's what it feels like being a lower seed versus a higher seed, right? Yeah,
even though it's not necessarily true, there does feel like an inevitability of adaptation from these top players. You, in your mind, go, oh, it's MKBigBoss, it's whoever else. We just saw MBD on stream right before. They're going to figure me out if I don't kill them quick.
And that's why even some of these more combo-based oriented characters, I feel like it gives players a bit more confidence, right? Just because, like, well, I know my character can pump out, like, crazy 0 to deaths or, like, 0 to 70s real easy. So even that kind of stuff can give you the confidence. Not going to go into the side special there. BigBoss just opting for the ledge trap to down throw into up tilt. No, instant mash out here for Orchid.
Yeah, Orchid did drop that first stock really early thanks to the down tilt reset F smash in the corner, but has been a lot more careful of BigBoss's big kill options since then. Is stuck off stage, has to burn that air dodge, sends out that frame 1 reflector though, says no thank you to the gyro, and now has it in, had it in hand, and then BigBoss took it right back immediately.
reflector, and yeah, that air dodge up, not going to do the trick, but you don't want to go into Firebird either, just because Big Boss is going to go ahead and react. Great DI in there from Big Boss, just to make sure that the back air, if it was going to connect, it would have sent left. So Big Boss definitely knowing this matchup, and again, look at all this damage. And you talked about the inevitability of the adaptation from the more experienced player. We are currently seeing that now. It's definitely not something uncommon, but again, that is why you see some of these players taking some of these bigger risks in the earlier games, right? You want to try to get that lead and try to close it out early.
Does avoid getting tripped by the down tilt this time around, though, and then takes their luck all the way to the bank with that down tilt pop of their own. Send Big Boss all the way up to the top. Blasters, who gets that stock gone, but now in a very precarious situation once more as Big Boss just jumps out there, sends the side B, and even though his own gyro was flying right back at him, guess what? It reflects. You're still screwed.
Yeah, and usually you feel a little bit safer going that low as Falco. Of all the spaces, you do have the best, or one of the better, I mean, just double jumps in the entire game, honestly, of the entire roster.
All the way up.
You could beat that drop zone side B with something like a rising fair up air just to hit Rob from underneath. But if Big Boss doesn't swing that and just waits for you and then whiff punishes the rising aerial, then you're in big trouble, right? So just going that low in general, you're kind of giving Big Boss that coin flip scenario, and Big Boss flipping right.
Yeah, one of the biggest things throughout that set that Big Boss definitely adapted on, especially at the very end, was every time he tried to set up for those edge guards with project